Zomato was doing 1 lakh a month when we invested.
Founder more important than the idea?
Both are important. But changing the idea is... Pricing strategy was informed by...
Padma Shri मिला है आपको.
श्री संजीव बिखचंदानी व्यापार एवं उद्योग.
क्या होता है जब when you receive that?
Now you better behave yourself.
Applying for a job. What hacks they should apply? Do you believe founders should take a salary?
Zomato or Policybazaar make losses and now are profitable. आपकी कंपनी bootstrapped है.
हाँ जी. So I'm the founder of easyleadz.
शुरू में you had money or how did you manage?
No money at all.
You never thought of getting married again?
Actually sir, जब प्यार था तब पैसे नहीं थे. Is bootstrapping the right way or raising funds? By the way, I don't know whether you will like it or not, but आपसे मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. I've started this new thing where with the guest, if they are comfortable, we also while we are talking, we play Zenga.
Okay, I don't know how to play Zenga, but I'm happy to try.
मैं बता देता हूँ आपको. होता क्या है इसमें सिंपल है. So there are multiple blocks. What we have to do is first my turn, your turn, ऐसे alternate turns आएंगे and हमारा काम रहेगा कि हम एक एक ब्लॉक हटाएं इससे.
Without making it collapse.
Without making it collapse. It's more like a सारे फाउंडर्स मिलके स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को इकट्ठे लेके चल रहे हैं एंड वी प्लेस इट ऑन द टॉप. एंड फिर आपकी टर्न आएगी, फिर मेरी टर्न आएगी. तो ऐसे करते करते हम खेलते खेलते बात करेंगे. बढ़िया इंटरेस्टिंग.
एंड whoever makes it collapse loses. ठीक है.
आइडियली वी डोंट वांट एनीवन टू लूज, बट यस
हो जाता है. क्या करें?
हाँ वो तो मतलब हो ही जाएगा डेफिनेटली. बट दैट्स द आइडिया.
Great.
ऑसम सर. ऑसम संजीव. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग हियर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल.
Thank you for calling me.
बहुत मजा आएगा एंड आई एम रियली मोटिवेटेड टू सिट इन फ्रंट एंड अक्रॉस विद यू बिकॉज आपने naukri.com, जीवनसाथी, 99 acres इतनी अमेजिंग कंपनीज बनाई हैं एंड आई थिंक मोर देन दैट यू हैव स्पॉटेड ह्यूज गैप्स विच इज़ वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डू दैट. एंड उससे भी ज़्यादा जो आपने इकोसिस्टम के लिए किया है बाय इन्वेस्टिंग इन Zomato एंड अदर अमेजिंग कंपनीज. I think 120x का रिटर्न है वो अभी भी रियलाइज नहीं हुआ है शायद, बट दैट्स द स्केल एट व्हिच यू आर सिटिंग.
So we haven't really calculated, but the return has been good in Zomato. But look, it's very kind of you to say this, but if any effort of this nature is never one person's effort. So there are lots and lots of people who have made this happen and continue to make it happen. But I'm the person who gets called to a podcast. Okay. So मुझे credit मिलता है more than I deserve, but I accept it on behalf of the whole company and the organization and those who are working and those who have worked in the past in the company.
Have you always been this humble?
Yeah, I don't know. People say I'm humble, but I don't think I'm humble.
You don't think?
No, I mean I have a high opinion of myself, but I also acknowledge the truth. The truth is ये मेरा effort alone नहीं है.
How were you like growing up when you were a child? आप बहुत studious थे?
No. So I was the youngest. I had an elder brother and an elder sister, and my elder brother went to the same school, 7 years senior to me, and he always came first in class. And in my life, I've never come first in class.
Okay.
Okay. So I used to study when required to achieve the goal I wanted to achieve. So in the exams that counted, board exams, I would get the numbers to get into the college I wanted. कोई entrance exam था, I would clear it. But I was not this person who studied because I must study all the time. I must study. So I got into St. Stephen's College. I got into IIT. I didn't go. I got into IIM.
You got into IIT and you didn't go?
No, you see, it's complicated. There was a 3-year window in 1978, 79 and 80 where the country was switching over from class 11 to class 12, right? And different states were shifting at different times in these 3 years. So in order to have a level playing field, the IIT people had said you can write the entrance exam after class 11,
okay,
whether or not you've completed your schools.
Oh.
So if you were in a class 12 wala state, you could write after class 11 and not take a class 12 board exam. If you were in a class 11 wala state, obviously you would have taken the board exam and you write it.
Correct.
So obviously, now Delhi was a class 12 state, right? So But obviously, when you get the opportunity to write IIT after class 11, you say, I'll jump a year, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll get a second chance next year also.
Correct.
So we all studied in my school and we all wrote the exam. As luck would have it, I qualified, right? But when I went for the medical, there was a counseling of the IIT, there was a medical test. So there they told me you're partially colorblind.
Oh.
And you can join, it's okay. But some careers and some departments may be close to you, but mostly it's okay. But it'll go down in your permanent medical record. Okay? That's the first time I began to think, this is why do I want to be an engineer? And I realized that I didn't want to be an engineer. I just wanted to be an IITian. Right? And I got scared. I said, listen, supposing something happens and I have to drop out of IIT for some reason after 2 years, I won't even be class 12 pass.
Right.
So then to get into a different college, I would have to write a class 12 board exam again and then apply.
Correct.
So I said to myself, why don't I continue in school for class 12, write the exam again next year? And, what was happening was that mine was the last year when you could write after class 11.
Oh.
So I reasoned it, my junior batch can't write it. All the good guys from my batch have gone into IIT already. So I should be able to qualify a second time after class 12.
Correct.
And so I stayed on in school and I continued. And then I wrote the exam again and I got in the second time, but I also got St. Stephen's College. So then I chose St. Stephen's.
Why did you choose St. Stephen's?
I said, ये 3 साल का है, ये 4 साल का है. I don't really want to be an engineer. I want to be an IIT. I was chasing a brand.
But should a student chase a brand? How does that matter?
I don't know if it should, but लोग करते हैं, मैंने किया था.
Okay. अभी आपको लगता है relevant है वो चीज?
See, I'll tell you one thing. People can say all sorts of things, but brands open doors.
I agree.
They open doors.
I agree.
Right? I went to IIM Ahmedabad, and it's not as if I couldn't have been an entrepreneur without that. But it's just that a few doors opened a bit easier.
Do you have any example you think that have opened your doors only because of the brand?
I don't know only because of the brand, but you at least get the 20 minutes to pitch.
Which is very difficult otherwise.
It may or may not be, but it depends on where your company has reached. But I think people may say credentialism is useless, but the truth is that it works.
I'll tell you a live example of this, sir. When I started podcasting 11 months back only, and obviously I didn't had any exposure or any subscriber or any followers, and most of the people who would be willing to come on the podcast will always ask this first question. But the only thing that made me get to these people or guests like you, I'm being very upfront right now, in fact you're sitting with me, is the IIT brand.
I don't recall you saying you're from IIT when you spoke to me, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that. Okay, so I didn't say yes because you're from IIT.
No, of course not. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it helps. It definitely helps.
It does help.
Because a lot of people, when they see, Nitin from IIT Delhi, it instantly gives them some confidence or trust or credibility कि ठीक है, कहीं से है ये, कुछ तो किया हुआ है इसने, let me see what he's up to or what he's trying to say. So I agree that brands matter, but maybe in the initial days.
I agree. See, ultimately you'll be evaluated on your work.
Correct.
But you may get into the door easier if you have some credentials.
Correct. But do you think grades matter?
I do think so.
You do think so?
I think so.
Like if someone has 95%, 99% versus someone with 60%.
I'll tell you, in my school, the people's board exam results would be published in the school magazine. So I still have the class 10 board exam results of my batch in some old school magazine. And I was going through it the other day. And now it's not as if people who, हमारे क्लास में करीब 235 लड़के थे, all boys school. The top 50 have had very different academic outcomes in the places they got into and what they ended up doing in life. It's not as if others have not succeeded, but in terms of uniformity of success as a percentage, grades open doors. It gets you into a better college. It gets you, if you do well in the entrance exam, gets you into IIT. It gets you into engineering college. If you do well in college and you do well in the entrance exams, it gets into a good business school. And at every stage, then your more better options open up. I think grades matter.
What is success for you though? You said they are more successful. I wanted to know after you have reached the level where you are today.
So if you look at your conventional careers, that मेरे बैच में कम से कम 10 या 15 PhDs हैं from the best universities in the world. Almost all of them were in that top 50 people of 250, right? So they are academically accomplished. There are others who've been to various good colleges and universities, which and it makes a difference. It does make a difference.
Sir, today संजीव बोलूँगा मैं आपको, एक तो बार बार मुझसे सर निकल रहा है. I'll try and put the effort more of saying you Sanjeev. So many people are still crazy about government jobs. Why are people so crazy about it?
It's been around in India for maybe a couple of centuries. I don't know how long.
But कब तक रहेगा आपको लगता है, और क्यों है ये इतना? अभी भी Gen Zs की अगर दुनिया की बात करें तब भी ये हाल है.
But if you look at it, there's a certain strata of society who are not crazy about government jobs. In fact, not crazy about any jobs. These are the privileged elite. There's parents are successful. So I don't really have to struggle, right? Then there are those who are academically accomplished and do not aspire for a government job. But if you go beyond that, very large numbers. Now we have invested in a company called Adda 24/7.
Adda 24/7, yeah.
Adda 24/7 trains people for government job entrance exams. It's a freemium model. So लाखों लोग आते हैं, free पढ़ाई करते हैं, and a few pay for the value-added products. Very large numbers. And the truth is that India में there must be a few hundred government job entrance exams. किसी भी government job देखो entrance exam होगा, right? The moment you put out a private sector job, कि भाई इसका भी एग्जाम है, इस private sector company का,
nobody cares.
Interest drops 95%. So there is a strata of society where people just want government jobs. Now, whether it's for prestige, whether it's for employment security, whether it is, whatever it is. But it's also true that at the junior level, government jobs pay more than the private sector.
At the junior level?
Junior level. So, for example, if you take a school teacher, a government school teacher is paid much, much more than an equivalent, private school teacher.
That's true.
And that also makes a difference.
But how do people prepare? Like, since you have started Naukri, you have seen this sector very, very closely. I'm sure you would have figured out so many mistakes that people do when they're applying for a job, or preparing for a job. How do they become better at getting a job? What hacks they should apply?
See, in today's day and age where you're saying unemployment zyada hai, I would say it's important you get some sort of work experience under your belt, any sort of work experience. I mean, even if it is working without pay.
Should people do that?
People should do that if they're not getting a paid job. Get some work experience. Have it on your CV. You get work experience, you learn something, you get skilled at something, you learn what it's like to work in an office, in a job, you learn what it's like to make a sales call, it's experience. You build a network. You build a network, you'll get opportunities.
Correct.
Right? And therefore, this internship program that the government has announced is, I think, very significant.
That the recent budget mentions, yeah.
It's very significant because if it gets youngsters into organizations as interns, they'll learn something.
Correct.
They'll get a credential. They will perhaps get absorbed by the same company if they do a good job.
Yeah, PPO.
They will perhaps get a job in another company with this work experience. Right? क्योंकि जो हम पढ़ते हैं और लाइफ में जो जॉब में हमें करना पड़ता है, they're very different. So this is a brand new experience. your studies are not prepared you for this. But if you do this and you do a good job, you will likely get absorbed somewhere.
आपने अभी बोला your studies are not preparing you, and this is
for the most part.
For the most part, correct. I agree. But why is that India is still not there? I don't know what about US and UK and all these countries, but let's talk about India. इंडिया में अभी भी मैंने ये चीज़ ऑब्जर्व की है, जो हम पढ़ते हैं वो कभी भी अप्लाई नहीं होता है. क्यों है इतना बड़ा गैप और क्यों नहीं अभी तक हम उसको सॉर्ट कर पा रहे हैं?
You see, the skills required for a particular job are often unique to that job, and for that job they are unique to that organization, that job. You can't really have a course of study which covers all jobs. Now, when you're in college, you don't know what job you'll do unless you take up a professional course. So, अगर आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी कर रहे हो, आपको अकाउंटेंट बनना है, फाइनेंस में जाना है, आपको so the chartered accountancy program trains you for that job. अगर आप लॉ कर रहे हो, आपको लॉयर बनना है, तो लॉ कोर्स ट्रेन्स यू फॉर दैट लाइन. अगर आप मेडिसिन कर रहे हो, आपको डॉक्टर बनना है, दे आर ट्रेनिंग यू फॉर दैट. बट इफ यू आर डूइंग BA, you are not being trained for anything in particular, right? So the work you will do will often be divorced from what you studied in college. So there are professional courses and there are other courses. Professional courses train you for a particular job. और इंडिया में ये भी है कि engineering is meant to be a professional course.
Correct.
But so many engineers don't work as engineers because they don't want to. They studied engineering, कि वही करना है, फ्यूचर सेट हो जाएगा, पेरेंट्स बोल रहे हैं, all my friends are doing it, so you do engineering. Very often you're not really interested in that subject and you don't actually want to work as an engineer. But engineering trains you for work as an engineer.
What do you think is an engineering?
आपने MBA किया है?
हाँ जी.
So the MBA to some extent trained you to work as a manager, to some extent. आपने अंडरग्रेजुएट में क्या किया?
Engineering, mechanical.
Okay, तो आपने मैकेनिकल नहीं किया, आपने मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर का काम नहीं किया. Had you become a mechanical engineer in your work, then perhaps your education might have come in use.
True. बीच में 3-4 साल आई थी जब मैं रोबोटिक्स का काम कर रहा था. There I was using my mechanical degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you had continued.
Definitely. But by the way, sir, आपकी turn.
Oh, my turn. Okay, so I've never done this before, and okay.
Amazing, you're so good at it. Have you played this at home?
No, never.
Never. अच्छा. But I wanted to ask you, आप कोर्सेज की बात कर रहे थे क्या? प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज होते हैं. इतना ज़्यादा स्कैम भी बहुत हो रहा है आजकल कोर्सेज को लेके. आई एम श्योर आपने बर्ड्स आई व्यू देखा होगा कि पीपल आर जस्ट क्रिएटिंग एनी कोर्स ऑन द नेम ऑफ कि कुछ भी बनाओ और बेचो. What is the right way to upskill oneself, and which direction India is heading? कि इस direction में ये courses करने चाहिए.
See, my belief is that skilling. Skilling comes from repeated practice. आप chalk and talk blackboard में skill नहीं सिखा सकते. You can explain a concept. But to get skilled in an application of that concept, you need repeated practice. जैसे कि हमने इंजीनियरिंग की बात की,
आपने इंटर्नशिप की बात की, प्रैक्टिस वहीं पे आगे वापस
प्रैक्टिस वहीं पे आगे. Now, for any skill, you need repeated practice. Even the skill to get a math skill, आपने concept explain किया, फिर आप 20 problem करोगे.
Correct.
That's how we are taught in school. भाई ये कॉन्सेप्ट है, अब ये 20 प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करो. रिपीटेड प्रैक्टिस टू क्लियर द IIT एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, जैसे और योर इंजीनियरिंग एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, यू लर्न अ कॉन्सेप्ट, फिर उस कॉन्सेप्ट पे आप 100 प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करो,
अलग अलग टाइप की,
ऑन दैट कॉन्सेप्ट.
करेक्ट.
रिपीटेड प्रैक्टिस.
करेक्ट.
एंड ओवर टाइम, एज यू प्रैक्टिस मोर एंड मोर, यू बिकम बेटर एंड बेटर एट दैट स्किल. Every skill is repeated practice, whether it's carpentry, whether it's electrician, whether it is automobile mechanic, whether it is mathematics, whether it is art. It's repeated practice. So how does a young boy become a mechanic? in the roadside shop, auto repair shop. As a 12-year-old is probably sent to go and work there on weekends as a mundu. He helps the ustad carry this here, carry this there. Slowly he begins to learn. By the time he is 15 or 16, he's proficient enough to say he's a mechanic, right? And he can help you fix cars. Okay? Repeated practice. So repeated practice on the job becomes really important, which is why I come back to this apprenticeship program of the government. It's really important.
But do you think आजकल की जो जनरेशन है, स्पेशली अगर मैं जेनजीज की बात करूं, उनमें मैंने एटलीस्ट ये फील किया है कि देयर इज अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ एंटाइटलमेंट कि हमें तो ये चाहिए, वैसा चाहिए, ऐसा चाहिए, which I have not seen with millennials.
That is perhaps true, but it's perhaps because the family circumstances can afford them that luxury. जो गरीब होते हैं वो काम कर लेंगे.
That's true.
See, at the end of the day, Zomato भी 4 लाख राइडर डिलीवरी बॉय चला रहा है ना, डिलीवरी पार्टनर.
Correct.
It's not a white collar, highbrow, मेहनत का काम है.
बिल्कुल.
भाई गर्मी में जाओ, सर्दी में जाओ, मोटरसाइकिल पे, delivering stuff. It's hard work, but people are doing it.
So the more somebody,
and you will not call them millennials or you not call them Gen Zs. That is a urban
definition
of people who have some privilege.
But do privilege gives you or limits you to think beyond the conventional norms? Do you think?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. It depends on the person. But people who have privilege have the luxury of not doing what they might have done otherwise.
Correct. Out of the way.
They have the luxury. When I began my career, we were grateful to have a job. And we would do whatever the job required.
Correct. But do you think people with luxuries can become better entrepreneurs?
वो आपकी internal drives होता है.
What drives an entrepreneur? What do you think?
I mean, कि मुझे कुछ करना है. And I want to do something which is out of the ordinary. I want to change something, do something new, I want to innovate, I want to create, I want to make an impact. It's that desire which is there.
जब आपने शुरू की थी naukri.com, what was your desire?
See, first of all, I quit my job in 1990 and we started Naukri in 1997.
बीच में क्या किया आपने 5-6 साल?
I was an entrepreneur, but I was doing I tried 20 different things, small ideas. Salary survey, trademarks database, other reports, some teaching, some training, some consulting. Whatever came, some writing. I was a journalist for a while. I know whatever came my way in order for me to survive. Right? And in 97, we launched Naukri as one more small idea. The 21st small thing I was doing. Right? And this one turned out to be right place, right time, and eventually became big. So we stumbled upon a big idea, thinking it was one more small idea.
And that's how the journey started.
That's how Naukri started.
Was it easy in the beginning?
Yeah, पैसे नहीं थे. And so you had to struggle. And somehow, there's a, shared server for $25 a month. Dial-up modem for internet access and updating the site. Stable connection with रात को 12 बजे. So I stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning updating the site myself.
Crazy.
So all those things, but it was part of the day and you accepted it and you didn't complain.
It's something that you love anyway.
Precisely.
Yeah.
आप अपना काम कर रहे हो.
तो मजा आ रहा है और फिर फील भी नहीं होता कि आप कुछ और ऐसा कर रहे हो जो आपको नहीं मन कर रहा करने का या जो थका रहा है आपको. Because it's something that you anyway love.
It's your work. You'll do it.
But what made you start Ashoka University? Like why?
No, I didn't start Ashoka University. There's a bunch of us.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You're one of them. Yeah.
So, you see, I figured that India mein, there's a gap in the market for possibly a high quality undergraduate program in arts and humanities. Okay? Because I had done.
Did you really spot it from there? कि ये वाला होगा?
No, I just took a chance. Okay, so I felt there was a gap. I had been to enough colleges in India to speak. I had studied, BA Economics in Delhi University. I had been to enough business schools, engineering colleges to speak in India. I'd seen overseas universities, and I felt that there was a gap. Which is why I approached Ashish Dhawan, a friend of mine, and I said, why don't we start a new type of college, a university, liberal arts, social sciences, and run it on the US model.
What's the US model of that?
So in India, we have inherited the British model because the British were ruling India. What was the British model? That you choose one subject in college and you study that. What is the US model? It's a 4-year program. You study 6 or 7 different areas in the first 2 years and then decide what your major is going to be. यहाँ पे India में you very often the subject you study is not decided by what you are interested in. It's decided by the marks you got in class 12. I didn't get economics, so I took history. Right?
And then you're stuck with that.
Then you study that. I mean, the point is that what we said was that listen, if a person gets into Ashoka, after that he should be free to choose his or her major. He might after 2 years, after 1.5 years.
तो कुछ change दिख रहा है आपको by adopting this US model? What change have you seen?
Well, so it's hard to measure, but anecdotally, I think Ashoka students are very well rounded. They are better at critical thinking. They can think across various disciplines, and I think that helps in life because life is multidisciplinary. It's not a single discipline.
How can a 20-year-old today develop critical thinking?
Actually, students innately will be critical thinkers. It's just you have to guide them and allow them, right? And at Ashoka, there's a writing course where which every student has to do. It's compulsory. Which trains you in critical thinking. The teaching methodology, the pedagogy in every course at Ashoka, and the arts and humanities side, will employ methods that you will be required to do critical thinking. Now, critical thinking का मतलब ये कि analyze pros, cons, see it from all angles. It's not just knowing facts and knowledge.
Do you have any example? Can you explain it with an example, if possible?
So let me put it this way. Supposing you study history and you say World War I हुई, पहले ये हुआ, फिर ये हुआ, फिर ये हुआ. The Archduke Franz Ferdinand was, assassinated. Right? However, critical thinking will say, what were the reasons why World War I happened? What could have been done differently? Who made what mistake? Right? When? What were the conflicting alliances in Western Europe which said that it was a set of dominoes waiting to fall? If this country attacks this country, then this country attacks that country, and so on and so forth. And what were the imperial forces or the imperial ambitions of the various powers that led to this? So it was an uneasy equilibrium which collapsed when one person was assassinated. So you get a lot more knowledge of why and not just of what.
Right. And understanding why is more important.
I mean, both are important. Facts are also important. But I think why and how is what critical thinking is about, and what and when is perhaps what we are better at in our schools.
And is there a shift or a pattern that you've seen people outside India are more in how and why?
In the good universities in the West, yes.
Is that the reason they are more first principle thinkers?
I don't know if they are more first principle thinkers, but in general, at least on the arts and humanities and social science side, they are schooled and trained in a particular way, which we have adopted at Ashoka.
What I feel is that engineers are more what and when.
Not really. Engineering, mein to you do how and why are. I mean,
but the way we are taught.
I think engineering mein kya hota hai, you are trained to have a definite answer. Right?
Correct.
कि इस प्रॉब्लम का ये सॉल्यूशन, ये आंसर है. आंसर एक ही होता है.
उसमें आना कैसे वो अलग है.
In real life, however, outside of technical subjects, right, there could be 3 approximately right answers, but no answer is perfect. Right? And then which one will you choose? Okay, and take action on.
अभी इतना जो रिसेशन की बात कर रहे हैं वो तो बाद में करूँगा मैं आपसे, बट इन द कोविड एरा 3-4 साल पहले देयर वाज अ बूम विद द टेक्निकल सैलरीज. आईटी की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो सो मच ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन या इन्फ्लेटेड सैलरीज बोल लूँ अगर मैं. डू यू थिंक दैट्स जस्टिफाइड टू पे 10x 5x सैलरीज?
That was the market. I mean, the fact is that was the market. And if that is the market, that's the market. You have to accept it. Today the market is different. We have to accept this also.
Is AI going to eat away what technical people are doing?
See, that is the question we've been grappling with. Okay, and I don't have a definite answer. Will AI cause job losses? It will cause some job losses, but will AI...
what kind of jobs do you think it will eat away?
It will eat away jobs which it can do better than human beings, or faster, or more efficiently, or cheaper. अब देखिए, at naukri we have a optional sort of value-added service for candidates. We can help you write your resume, right? And we had human beings doing it, but now AI can do it.
Correct.
Then that's the kind of job that will come under threat.
Right. But
but you know what I'm encouraging our people to do is listen. Maybe you can drop the price. Maybe demand will go up, and then the same number of people can be employed because there are more CVs to be done. So we've got to look for creative solutions to minimize or prevent a human cost.
I wanted to ask you one more thing. Now that
my turn.
Sure. Great.
It's going to get tougher and tougher, I think.
That's the idea. Like every startup founder journey. But you were talking about price reduction.
No, this is just an idea.
Just an idea, yes. I want to know in general, when a founder or when a company have an option to reduce their price, they're still profitable, let's say. The company is still doing great. But in India, if they can reduce their price, they will be able to maybe get more market. Is that a right way?
So, it depends, right? In some cases, demand will go up. In some cases, it won't. In some cases, it will go up massively. In some cases, it will go up less so.
Okay.
What companies calculate is, यार अगर demand 2x हो जाए, तो फिर ठीक है. अगर demand 1.2x हुआ, तो शायद ठीक नहीं है. So they will figure out, and these things are hard to predict, and people don't want to take chances. अब कुछ चल रहा है, चलने दो.
Have you seen that in real life in your journey, in any of the cases?
I mean, we always have. This is the real life thing I'm talking about. That should we reduce the price of? Now there's more efficiency. Can we? खर्चा कम हुआ है. Can we reduce the price? And so the same person who was doing 10 resumes, is that person doing 20 resumes a month?
Correct.
Or demand आ गया, the person remains employed.
Any other example? I'm just trying to get more and more insights so that people can maybe correlate.
There's always this saying that should we have a freemium job listing? Abhi you have to pay money to list jobs on naukri.
Correct.
if you have freemium, the volume of jobs will certainly go up. Question is, what will happen to our revenue? And what are the product you'll sell, which people will pay for?
What do you decide then?
Jeevansathi, for example, for the longest time, it's the number 3 matrimony site. Bharat Matrimony and Shadi are number 1, number 2. And we had the same model where it was freemium, that everything is free till you want contact information.
Correct.
We made chatting free. The moment we were chatting free, volumes went up, but of free alone, and we lost revenue.
But you lost revenue?
We lost revenue. We were minus 25% over last year. But then after 6 months of this, we introduced some new products. Okay. And now we are back. Because the new products are selling, while chatting remains free. So the volumes are higher, revenue is back, and we are hoping next 2-3 years it grows further.
But when the volume came up, revenue got down, at that moment you thought we should get back to the same model?
See, Jeevansathi is a small business in our portfolio in terms of contribution to total revenue.
Right.
Naukri is highly profitable, so we could afford to take the hit.
So once you've taken a call, you go ahead and do it?
No, it doesn't always work. In this case, it did work.
In this case, it did work. But you have been a pioneer in spotting and figuring out gaps. For example, with Naukri, you saw a gap of jobs. People are not able to find good jobs. With Jeevansathi, again, life partner gap. People are not able to find good life partner, and you're making the process seamless and efficient and scalable. 99 acres again.
I'm not saying people are unable to find a good life partner. People find good life partners anyway. But we're just making it a little easier.
Yeah. How do a 20-year-old today spot gaps? What's the right way to figure out a gap?
I think you observe people, you observe your prospective customers, and you get it through experience. I mean, where did the idea of Naukri come from? I was working in my last job in 89-90 in a company called HMM, which is now called GlaxoSmithKline. And I used to see that we 10-12 लोग एक hall में बैठते थे, all the junior marketing team. And I used to observe that when the office copy of Business India would come in, everybody would read it from the back. Because there were 35 to 40 pages of appointment ads at the back of Business India in those days. Right? And I was struck by this. I said, यार magazine आती है, लोग articles से पहले appointment ads देख रहे हैं. And it's not that they're looking for jobs.
They were not looking for jobs?
They were happy. This is a multinational company handling good brands. They were just curious. Right? And I said, okay, so jobs are a high interest category of information. And that is where the insight came 7 years later, where we got newspapers and magazines from around the country every day into our office and just put the appointment ads up on the net, free of cost. And the thing worked because we had that insight that jobs are a high interest category of information. Where did the idea of Zomato come from? To Dipinder. He was working in Bain Consulting in Gurgaon, and Bain में 50-60 लोग होंगे Gurgaon office में in those days, and working hours were long because consulting is a demanding industry, and so invariably you'd work late, you'd have lunch and dinner in office. 50-60 लोग थे, mostly young, mostly single, mostly male, many living away from their hometowns. What that meant was घर से खाना नहीं आते थे. Often at a cafeteria that would not serve food, but you could bring your own food and eat it. So to make life easy for
all the employees,
the admin team had gathered the delivery menu cards of roughly 80 restaurants that would deliver their location and kept them in a file folder. And Dipinder said, I've got deadlines to meet, I'm harassed, I'm 1 baje aata hu, the cafeteria, I'm hungry also, and I have to stand in line to see the file. I get it for 30 seconds, I have to decide. Then next day I watch the file and I phone up, order food, and if I go back to my desk and I come back when the food comes, I pay for it. Right? and it's very inconvenient. So this is one weekend I came in and I scanned all those menu cards and put them up on my personal page on the office intranet. It's 3 days later, the IT infra guy came and said, "Man, what have you done? Why is 97% of the internal traffic going to your page?" So that's when I realized that aggregation of menu cards got value is सबकी problem है. केवल मेरी problem नहीं है. Since I went around on weekends gathering menu cards, when I had 800, I launched a site.
That's how you spot ideas.
So that's how these two ideas were spotted. Okay, now I think
this one.
This one. Oh, yeah. Thank you. You are quite the veteran.
But I hope you're enjoying this.
No, I'm enjoying this. I mean, I'm wondering when it collapsed. But tell me, in all your podcasts, how long has this thing lasted before collapsing?
How long?
The longest.
I think 3 or 4 more layers.
When it collapses.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
We're not doing badly.
We are not doing badly. But you're telling about story of Zomato. There are many other companies that you have invested, right?
We've invested in over 100 startups.
Yeah. What is that one or two top, things that you like about the founder? And is founder more important than the idea?
I think both are important. But changing the idea is easier than changing the founder. Okay? The founder can pivot. But, you get the wrong founder. You can't change the founder.
That's true.
You can change the idea.
That's true.
Right? Ideally, you both have to be right.
But is story of the founder more important than the metrics of this startup at stage where you are investing?
See, we invest early stage. Okay,
Right.
तो ज़्यादा कोई metric होते नहीं है. Zomato was doing 1 lakh a month.
1 lakh rupees a month.
When we invested.
Okay.
And it was all from one client.
That's all from one client.
Citibank.
Ah.
Credit card promote कर रहे थे अपना. Okay. Policybazaar was pre-launch, pre-product, pre-company incorporation, pre-presentation. It was just a conversation.
Why did you decide to invest in that company then?
Well, so ek to we knew Yashish. Hitesh had, studied with him in school in IIT. I had met him earlier when, I had gone to do a talk at IIT, IIM Ahmedabad, and he was in the class. So I remember the guy, so we knew him. He looked good. I mean, we knew him, we thought he was a good guy. We had a good opinion of him. And he came to us and he said that, he sat in my cabin and he said, "I'm willing to bet you are paying 60% more for your car insurance than you need to." And I said, "Don't be silly. I've got a standard car, bought it from a regular, well-known dealer. The insurance came with the car.
Correct.
It's a public sector insurance company, New India, which,
New India General Insurance.
New India Insurance Company, jo bhi tha. And, there's no way I'm being overcharged." He said, "No, it's not about overcharged." He said, "Different companies will price the same risk differently because they have different models and they work on different data." So he said, "Take out your insurance, show me." So I showed him my insurance papers. And he said, "Okay, give me half an hour." He was doing something on his computer. He was querying various databases of various insurance companies in their portals to get a quote. Half an hour he came back, "Here are 6 quotes." And sure enough, the lowest quote was 40% lower than what I was paying. I said, "Wow, I didn't know this." He said, "Yeah, no, almost nobody knows this. But there is huge variation in prices charged for the same policy, for the same, insurance. And therefore, I want to launch an insurance comparison site." And penny dropped. I said, "This will work. Agar itna price variation hai, people will want to check before they buy." And so we backed them.
But do you see any common quality amongst all the founders that you have invested that have done great?
Yeah, they all have this. Even the ones who have not done great or which didn't pan out the way we would like.
It was supposed to, yeah.
They're still very good entrepreneurs, and we still have huge respect for them, and they're still friends of ours.
But what's one of the top quality that you've observed, which is common?
They all have a very good understanding of the consumer, their customer, prospective customer. they all have this huge desire to make it happen, which means they'll be committed. They won't, after 2 years, throw in the towel and say, अब हम थक गए. You see, मैंने एक चीज देखी है, जो फाउंडर अगर 8-10 साल लगे कर लेना, कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा उसका.
कुछ तो बनेगा.
कुछ बना लेगा.
हाँ.
राइट. 10 साल लगाए.
That's true.
जो 3 साल या 4 साल क्विट कर ले, वो नहीं बना पाएगा.
बट जब आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो तो तब तो आपको पता नहीं है कि कितना आगे तक जाएगा.
That's a judgment call. We asked these questions. I remember I asked Nitin, I hope you won't after 2 years come back and tell me that अब मैं जा रहा हूँ to the US for an MBA. Because that's a typical IIT consulting kind of route. आपने IIT से पास किया, आपने 2 साल कंसल्टिंग में काम किया, फिर आप चले गए हार्वर्ड MBA के लिए. I said, I hope you're not on that path. He said, no, I'm not on that path. I will be an entrepreneur. I'll stay. We believed him. And he stayed.
आजकल हर स्टार्टअप के फाउंडर, कुछ लोग, हर नहीं, गलत वर्ड यूज़ कर लिया मैंने, कुछ लोगों का मैंने ऐसा देखा है, they chase wrong metrics, which is vanity metrics like PR हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही है, Forbes 30 under 30 की लिस्ट में आ रहे हैं कि नहीं आ रहे हैं. Do you think a lot of founders are chasing those vanity metrics?
I'm sure some are. And I do believe that distracts them from the real priorities of the business. But there are many, many more who are doing the right things, right? And you don't hear of them because they're not chasing PR.
और D2C के बारे में क्या बोलोगे आप? Because I've seen so many companies plug and play किया, product start कर दिया. Without even maybe understanding the market or understanding the consumer or figuring out if there is a gap which is truly there. I'm sure आप देखते होंगे रोज आपका pitches आती होंगी कि एक नया D2C कंपनी आ गया है, वो भी फेस वॉश बेच रहा है. Is that a bubble that is about to burst?
So, see, we don't invest behind D2C.
You don't invest?
No. We invest behind tech. And D2C in our view is not tech.
D2C in your view is not tech?
No.
Okay.
It is a consumer product. It's D2C is FMCG. It's just a channel is direct. And selling on Amazon is not D2C. The channel is Amazon. D2C is when you sell directly to the customer. Right? So, is there a bubble? I don't know. There are enough companies that have seen success. So, therefore, obviously, it's not a bubble. But out of 100 who try, how many will make it? I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 20. Okay. But if even 10 or 15 make it out of 100, it's not a bubble.
But do you believe that if someone, I'm not talking about D2C now, let's talk about tech. Since your focus core investment philosophy is more towards tech. If someone that have a product in the technology space, which is more like a Me Too, but they have a good distribution strategy, would you still invest in them, or you need something which is very uniquely in tech? Look,
in an ideal world, you want something unique, but there has to be some right to win.
Okay.
What is my unfair advantage?
Right. What is your moat?
What is my unfair advantage? Moat शायद शुरू में होता नहीं है. Moat शायद बनाया जाता है over years, but क्या moat बन सकता है?
And how and which all type of moat can be there?
I'm in trouble.
मैं आपको help करता हूँ. This one.
Okay. Yeah, you're very experienced.
बहुत podcast पे मैंने खेल लिया ना. Finally, amazing. You're doing very good. Yeah. मैं आपसे पूछा था कि मोड बन सकता है, एग्री, एंड अनफेयर एडवांटेज भी स्टार्टिंग में अलग अलग हो सकते हैं. What kind of moat can someone develop in their business over the long term, and what kind of moat you believe are good moats?
See, a good moat is a durable moat. It must last the test of time. It must last, years and decades. Now, a moat could be a brand. A moat could be a product formulation. A moat could be, but the best moats that I have seen in our business is the network effect.
Network effect. Can you explain what
Naukri
network
has a great network effect. We've got the most jobs, therefore we get the most traffic.
And because
therefore
you get
okay,
most jobs.
And therefore we get the most response, and therefore we get the most clients, and therefore we get the most jobs.
So it's like
It's
a cycle.
virtuous circle.
Yeah.
So the network effect in our business manifests itself, just one second, manifests itself in the form of this virtuous circle. So, so that's how it manifests itself. Now, this network effect, how has it come about? First thing is, it came from the insight of the customer that they are interested in jobs. That I observed my colleagues read business terms back. So I said, we must always have the most jobs. अगर jobs होंगे, traffic आएगा. Right? So we said, जो भी job advertise होगा कहीं भी देश में डाल दो. That's how we started. ठीक है? Now, what's the value prop? Value prop is, this is the only place where all the jobs are there. Because when we started, we were the first. Right? अब तो और आ गए हैं. Right? तो अगर आप दिल्ली में बैठे हो, the ad came in Hindu in Madras, you will find it here. अगर ad आया 15 दिन पहले, you missed it, you will find it here. Right? And you can find all the jobs here, so you can very quickly, conveniently go through all of them in 20 minutes. Value prop was simple. ये था. It worked, it got traffic. Now, so the first thing was aggregation of jobs. फिर जब, when we began to charge for job listings, right? We used to take jobs free. हमको phone आते थे, HR managers के. I remember we launched in April 97. September 97, the phone rang. I picked it up. And the person on the phone said, I am so-and-so. I am the MD of this auto component company from Pune. My naam bhul gaya. Our first paid customer. Okay. And he said, you have taken my job in the past. I got a good response. I had advertised in the papers. If I send you jobs directly, will you put them up? I said, yes, sir, but you have to pay for them. मेरे मुंह से निकल गया, pay for them.
By chance, मतलब ऐसे
नहीं, मैंने दिमाग में था कि कभी ना कभी चार्ज करेंगे. तो how much? अभी मैंने सोचा नहीं था. मेरे मुंह से निकल गया, सर, 350 rupees job. Okay, because I didn't pick, 0.5 second में, it has to be half the price of a classified ad. तो सिर्फ 350 रुपए per job. Great, I have 6 jobs. I'm sending you 2100 rupees. With the jobs, आप please upload करिए. पूरे आ गया. With the jobs, and that's how our first sale was made, right? We then said, okay, 350 job is dirt cheap. Let's make it even more convenient and say 6,000 rupees annual subscription, unlimited listings for your company for 1 year, right? And we put that out, and sales began to happen. 2.5 lakh महीने की. Slowly, we climbed up to. What that did was, it guaranteed a continuous supply of jobs. So our pricing strategy was such as to ensure we had the most jobs. Either free from newspapers, or 6,000 रुपये annual subscription, या 350 रुपये single listing, आप हम कर देंगे. ठीक है? तो अगर maximum jobs हैं आपके पास maximum traffic आएगा. और ये हमें पता था from
insight.
From their insight. So our pricing strategy was informed by our consumer insight, and our goal of having the most jobs was informed by consumer insight, and that is what kick-started the virtual circle, right? And then everything we did, salespeople, advertising, customer service, was geared to strengthen this virtual circle. We've got the most jobs.
That was the only metric that you were chasing.
Yeah.
Rest automatically will follow.
हाँ.
अगर मैं Zomato की बात करूँ अभी.
Zomato में. What is the insight?
क्या मोट है अभी? हाँ.
What is the insight? The insight was that लोगों को मेन्यू कार्ड देखने हैं. So aggregation of menu cards has got value, just like aggregation of jobs value. Aggregation of menu cards has got value. So Zomato started off as a restaurant listing site. You had the even encyclopedic listing of all restaurants with menu cards in the city, and all the menu cards are there, and people came to see the menu cards. So you could see this restaurant was ye dish, ye price. Let's go here.
But what is the moat of Zomato today?
Up to the company has evolved. It is no longer just a restaurant listing site.
Correct.
It is a lot about food delivery. That's a logistics operation. That's a network operation. Okay, and the moat is simply bigger, better, faster.
Can someone's moat be just marketing?
It has to be backed up by customer experience on the ground, because just marketing can't do it.
Like in FMCG case, a lot of these brands pure play on marketing. Product could be just me too. Do you believe?
That becomes a challenge. I mean, historically, large companies have done it in the past. अब जब brand बन चुका है, because it's survived for decades. See, Horlicks was a 100-year-old brand when I was working 30 years ago. अब 130 साल का है in India. So it is now steeped in family's traditions. 5 generations of families have had Horlicks. So mothers give children Horlicks because they believe it's good. But वो belief बन गया. So brands create trust. Brands create faith. Brands create belief. So if a brand reaches that stage, right, then I would say that's a moat. But to get there, it takes a long time and is often hard and expensive.
Correct. And takes patience a lot. Yeah. But बहुत founders जो होते हैं, obviously when they are in the beginning phase of their journey, do you believe founders should take a salary?
So one of the most important questions we ask is, what kind of salary would you like to pay yourself after we invest? And we're not interested in a specific answer. We are interested in the person's approach to the answer and the justification of the salary. So we've seen answers like, listen, I will take survival plus a little bit more, because if I take a lot more, then I will have to raise more money faster and I will dilute, and I value my equity and I don't want to dilute so much. Right? That's one kind of answer. Another kind of answer is, we actually got, listen, I've done an MBA and I've now done this for 2 years, and therefore I'm behind my batchmates on salary, so I have to catch up. So I want what I would get in the job market as an MBA from such and such institute. Right? Third kind of answer is, listen, I was getting 60 lakhs in my job. अब मेरे को 90 lakh चाहिए because I'm taking a risk. Right? That tells you a bit about the founder's mindset, and you figure out कि सोच क्या है. So should a founder take salary? By all means, he should take a salary that he or she should take a salary that the company can afford to pay, and is possibly less than market. Because a lot of your upside is not going to be salary, it's going to be the equity you own.
Correct.
And if you make the company valuable, then your equity will become extremely valuable. And that's when you'll get your payoff. But look, different people think differently.
And should they be chasing valuation more than revenue or customer delight?
I think they should be chasing profit eventually. Because in the long run, you will be valued of a earnings multiple.
What profit you do, yeah.
Earnings multiple in the long run. Now, obviously, companies make losses in the interim. I mean, we have seen great companies like Zomato or Policybazaar make losses and now are profitable. There were perhaps competitive reasons. Okay. Perhaps they were chasing a certain scale at which they'll be profitable, and until then they make losses. And that's fine, but ultimately you have to get a profit. And you want to have a credible plan to get to profit.
True. I want to ask you one more thing about...
आपकी company bootstrapped है.
हाँ जी.
To survive, you have to make a profit now.
True. विदाउट दैट तो हम लोग कर ही नहीं पाएंगे कुछ.
Exactly. I mean, अब तक you are profitable and you are of fairly large size.
जी.
But शुरू में to survive you would have to make a profit.
Absolutely. We're doing many other jobs alongside to make it happen.
So let's talk about you first.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about your company.
So I'm the founder of a company called easyleadz.
easyleadz.
जी.
करते क्या आप?
It's a software as a subscription service.
क्या करते हैं?
Simple भाषा में बोलूँ तो it's like a database.
Okay.
सबसे प्योर प्ले वेनिला ग्राउंड लेवल पे इट्स अ डेटाबेस. जैसे मान लीजिए अगर मुझे आप ही को रीच आउट करना है, अब वन ऑफ द वेज आई वुड रीच आउट टू यू इज बाय फाइंडिंग यू ऑन लिंक्डइन एंड मे बी सेंडिंग ओ कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट, डीएम करूँगा आपको, वेट करूँगा कि शायद आप एक्सेप्ट कर लो या मेरे मैसेज को पढ़ लो. द अदर वे इज
the problem with that is, see, I'm there on LinkedIn but I'm very inactive.
Exactly. That is the biggest problem. And even if you're active, you don't know when you will be able to accept my invite, और बहुत लंबा साइकिल है. By the time my job may be even get done, right? तो वो जो प्रॉब्लम थी, यही हमारी प्रॉब्लम थी कि लोगों को, दूसरे लोगों को रीच आउट करने में इट टेक्स अ मैसिव टाइम एंड एफर्ट्स. वी वांटेड टू मेक इट ईजियर एंड दैट वाज द इनसाइट दैट वी हैड. एंड आई हैव वर्कड इन द सेल्स in the previous job I was working, and my biggest challenge was to find data and reach out to companies at scale. These two insights combined together with our technical know-how, we created a product called as easyleadz, जिसमें
आपने डेटा कैसे लिया?
हमने कोड बनाया. We created an algorithm. It's a pure play technology business. इस एल्गोरिदम का काम क्या है कि संजीव को वो ढूंढेगा. It will search the hell out of Google. 10,000, 20,000 पेजेस को ये क्रॉल करेगा. एवरी पेज इट विल फाइंड एवरीथिंग अबाउट संजीव एंड फिगर आउट वेदर देर इज एनी इंफॉर्मेशन एट ऑल मेंशन्ड एनीवेयर अबाउट संजीव. आपके मान लीजिए किसी सोशल मीडिया प्रोफाइल पे आपने अपना प्रोफेशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन डाला हुआ है कि संजीव इज द फाउंडर ऑफ naukri.com, वो सब वहाँ से उठा लिया उसने, बट ऑल पब्लिक. फिर उसने देखा कि अच्छा, इन्होंने कहीं पे 5 साल पहले कोई एप्लीकेशन फाइल की थी विच वॉज पब्लिक, और उसमें उनका नाम आया था और उसमें उनका ईमेल आईडी ये था या नंबर ये था. उसने वो वहाँ से उठा लिया. तो इट्स लाइक अ ह्यूमन बट वर्किंग एट एन इनसेन लेवल ऑफ क्रॉलिंग स्पीड, लाइक अ बॉट. वो 10-10 लाख पेजेस को रोज क्रॉल करता है और एवरी डे वी ऐड अराउंड 4,000 to 5,000 कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर ओवर द क्लाउड एज वी स्पीक. मतलब हम कुछ नहीं करते, हमने कोड बनाया, हम बस कोड को ऑप्टिमाइज करते रहते हैं और वो अपने आप डेटाबेस में कोड नंबर्स ऐड करता रहता है. ये हमारा सिस्टम है जो बैक एंड है. आर हार्ट ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट इज द कोड, बाकी तो सब फ्रंट एंड है. फ्रंट एंड पे क्या हुआ, यूज़र है, 5 लाख हमारे यूजर्स हैं आज की डेट में. दे विल सब्सक्राइब टू आवर प्लान. दे विल फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल साइन अप फॉर अ फ्री ट्रायल. प्रीमियम मॉडल है हमारा भी. एवरी यूजर विल गेट सम फ्री क्रेडिट्स. आपको क्रेडिट मिले, आपने नंबर निकाल के देखा लोगों का, आपको बहुत बढ़िया लगा, आप रेफर भी कर सकते हो, विच इज़ लाइक अ वर्ड ऑफ माउथ थिंग दैट वी प्ले ऑन टॉप. और उसके बाद आपको अच्छा लगा था, देन यू सब्सक्राइब टू आवर पेड प्लान. तो ये हमारा बिजनेस है विच इज़ आवर फर्स्ट प्रोडक्ट दैट बिकेम अ हिट. इसके बाद हमने और मल्टीपल प्रोडक्ट्स लॉन्च किए. वन ऑफ द रीसेंट एडिशन टू आवर प्रोडक्ट इज डेटा एनरिचमेंट एट स्केल. सिंपल भाषा में बोलूँ तो आप नौकरी की बात करते हैं, जैसे अब naukri.com पे 5 लाख रिक्रूटर.
अभी कितने रिकॉर्ड्स हैं आपके डेटाबेस में?
वी हैव अराउंड 15 to 20 million रिकॉर्ड्स.
ऑल इंडियंस?
ओवर द वर्ल्ड.
बट इंडियंस कितने?
इंडियंस उसमें से आप कह लीजिए अराउंड 80% आर इंडियंस, या 20% आउटसाइड. बट आवर प्रोडक्ट वाज ग्लोबल एंड इट्स रियल टाइम. सो मान लीजिए इवन इफ यू डोंट हैव समवन्स डेटा एट द मोमेंट, बट यू आर अ यूजर हु इज लुकिंग फॉर समवन्स डेटा, you go on our website, you click, it will start crawling them right now, and in the microsecond it will return the data. So it doesn't have to be all the time कि हमारे पास वो डेटा होना चाहिए. Our crawlers are so well equipped कि आपको रियल टाइम पे भी डेटा दे देंगे इसी. ये हमारा फर्स्ट इंसाइट था. उसके बाद जब हम इतने सारे कस्टमर्स के साथ इंटरेक्ट करने लगे तो हमें और समझ में आया कि हम और क्या कर सकते हैं. फिर देन वी रिलीज अ न्यू प्रोडक्ट. इंडिया में अगर हम बात करें तो देर आर 16 to 18 lakh कंपनीज, बट ओनली 2 to 3 lakh कंपनीज हैव अ प्रेजेंस ऑन लिंक्डइन और एनी वेबसाइट. रेस्ट 14 to 15 ट्रेडिशनल कंपनीज, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, फार्मा, इनका आपको कोई सोशल प्रेजेंस नहीं मिलता, कोई वेबसाइट नहीं मिलती, बट ये फिर भी 50-50, 100 करोड़ का धंधा करती है.
हाउ डू यू फाइंड दोस?
एग्जैक्टली. सो वी क्रिएटेड अगेन, हमने फिर MCA जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स है, उसका एक आपको पब्लिक इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलता है, वहाँ से हमारे पास कंपनीज का इन्फॉर्मेशन आया, एंड देन वी crawl those company information which is again public, and we applied our existing crawler on top of that. वहाँ से हमने उन मिसिंग कंपनीज का भी डेटा एनरिच करना शुरू कर दिया जो नहीं थी कहीं भी. दैट वाज अ ह्यूज गैप वी सॉल्व्ड फॉर सो मेनी ऑफ बैंक्स, फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज कंपनीज, बिकॉज दे वांटेड टू रीच आउट टू दीज नॉन कन्वेंशनल कंपनीज, ट्रेडिशनल बिजनेसेस. ये हमने किया. अब हम इंटेलिजेंस के ऊपर चले गए. वी रियलाइज दैट people are not just looking for contact data, they are looking for intelligence. When is the right time to reach out to someone? Should I call them? Should they have money if I pitch them my services? अगर मैं इनको रिक्रूटमेंट सॉल्यूशन बेच रहा हूँ, क्या रिक्रूटमेंट कर भी रहे हैं एक्टिवली? अगर मार्केट में है ही नहीं इनकी ग्रोथ, ये डिग्रेड कर रहे हैं अपने आप को, इनकी एम्प्लॉइज फायर हो रहे हैं, व्हाट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ मी रीचिंग आउट टू देम एंड पिचिंग रिक्रूटमेंट सॉल्यूशंस? देयर इज नो पॉइंट, दे डोंट हैव मनी. Now we are getting into the intelligence phase where we help these people to see कि ये insight है, ये बंदे का high intent है, आप इनको अब reach out करो. So this is the product that we have, essentially data coupled with more layer of intelligence.
So you are how old now?
I'm 35.
You're 35.
Yeah.
Or you've been an entrepreneur since when?
Almost 9-10 years now.
10 साल, 25 साल की.
जी.
ठीक है. तो you've not taken venture capital?
I have not taken. We are bootstrapped.
You're bootstrapped. So शुरू में you had money or how did you manage?
No money at all. So IIT Delhi में मैं MBA कर रहा था, and I was 26 years at that time when I was doing my MBA at IIT Delhi. So 26 से 28 तक मैं MBA कर रहा था. So I launched my first company, Get My Looks.
Get My Looks.
हाँ जी.
ये क्या है?
ये अर्बन कंपनी आपने सुना होगा, आई एम श्योर आप जानते ही होंगे. तो अर्बन क्लैप की तरह हमारा प्रोडक्ट था, बट बिफोर अर्बन क्लैप होते हैं. तो आपके घर पे आप ब्यूटी सर्विसेज को बुलाना है, प्लम्बर को बुलाना है, बट वी वर फोकसिंग मोर ऑन द ब्यूटिशियन साइड ऑफ इट. तो हमने वो लॉन्च किया. 1 साल में वो हमें बंद करना पड़ा, एंड कोई मनी नहीं थी, कोई पैसा नहीं था. माई फादर इज नो मोर, सो आई एम फ्रॉम करनाल, तो स्मॉल टाउन से आता हूँ.
How old were you when your father passed away?
I was 24.
24.
जी.
And there wasn't that much money in the family?
No. Government service से आए, middle class
family. Brothers and sisters?
Younger brother, elder sister. Elder
So
sister
there must
is
be
married.
some expectation, at least in your own head, कि मेरे को I have to earn money?
Absolutely sir. वैसे भी IIT से निकलने के बाद घर वालों की ये एक्सपेक्टेशन होती है कि 2-2.5 लाख महीने के कमाएगा. I got that also offer. मैंने 1 ही महीना किया और छोड़ दिया, बिकॉज मुझे अपने इस पे फोकस करना था. और घर पे झूठ बोला हुआ था कि मैं किसी कंपनी में जॉब कर रहा हूँ. दे ऑलवेज फेल्ट कि मैं बहुत अच्छे पैसे कमा रहा हूँ, और मैं झूठ बोल के रेंट पे लाजपत नगर में रहता था. रेंट भी पे नहीं कर पाता था.
How did you manage?
बहुत धक्के खाए. होम लोन भी चल रहा था. 30,000 रुपीज़ तो होम लोन ही जाता था, मुझे याद है. और उसके ऊपर से मैं अपने दोस्तों से हर महीने कुछ ना कुछ उधारे मांगता था. आई यूज्ड टू डू सो मेनी ऑफ मीनियल जॉब्स. कहीं पे कुछ कर लिया, किसी का कोई कुछ बना दिया, किसी ने कोई बोला कि यार 5,000 रुपये ले ले, डिज़ाइन बना दे, मैंने डिज़ाइन बना दिया. बहुत बारी ऐसा होता था कि खाने को पैसे नहीं होते थे, लिटरली, कि हम सिक्के इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं. मेरे पास पिक्चर्स भी है, आई विल पुट दैट इन द पॉडकास्ट आफ्टर दिस इज लाइव, कि हमने 10 रुपये के सिक्के इकट्ठे किए हुए और मैगी का पैकेट खरीद रहे हैं. तो मतलब उतना बुरा हाल था कि मैगी नहीं खाने को होती थी. और जहाँ मुझे शादी दिखती थी मैं उस शादी में चला जाता था, बिकॉज इतनी भूख होती थी कि बस शादी में जाओ.
Good clothes and go.
MBA वाला जो एक सूट था वही खरीदा था IT में, वो काम आया. जो भी शादी दिखती थी उसमें वही MBA का सूट पहन के मैं चला जाता था खाना खा के.
Ever caught?
Never, luckily never.
कितनी शादी में गए होंगे आप?
मेरे को लगता है 250-300 शादियों में गया हूँ मैं.
Over 2 years, 3 years.
Over the last, हाँ, मतलब जब नहीं थे पैसे तब 2-3 साल में बहुत शादियों में गया हूँ. मतलब एवरी ऑल्टरनेट डे जब भी मन करता था कि आज पैसे नहीं है और आज क्या रोज़ ही नहीं होते थे, तो आई यूज्ड टू गो देयर. एंड बट इसमें मैं एक चीज़ बोलूँगा कि माय फ्रेंड्स वर वेरी,
इट्स अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ क्राउड फंडिंग.
बट मेरे दोस्तों ने बहुत सपोर्ट किया सर. जैसे मुझे याद है कि मैं बोल रहा था पैसे नहीं होते थे, रेंट नहीं होता था, तो 3-4 महीने से मैंने रेंट नहीं दिया था. तो मैं एक दिन अपने लाजपत नगर में,
लैंडलॉर्ड वाज गेटिंग एग्रेसिव,
वेरी एग्रेसिव. एंड उसने, मैं ऑफिस गया,
इन अ फ्लैट और रूम और व्हाट?
फ्लैट था 2 BHK, और उसने मुझे घर से बाहर निकाल दिया. मैं मतलब बाहर आया शाम को वापस ऑफिस के काम करके, तो बाहर जाके देखा तो मेरा सामान सारा स्टेयर्स पे पड़ा हुआ था। मतलब उसने बिना बताए सामान मेरा बाहर फेंक दिया और ताला लगा दिया कि अब तेरे को यहीं नहीं रखूँगा यहाँ पे, बिकॉज तूने रेंट नहीं दिया। तो उस रात को मैं वहीं स्टेयर्स पे सोया। अगले दिन पता लगा मेरे फ्रेंड्स को।
तो लैंडलॉर्ड लिव्ड इन सेम बिल्डिंग?
हाँ, नीचे वाले ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे। फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे मुझे दिया हुआ था और ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे वो रहता था। तो उसने सामान बाहर फेंक दिया और स्टेयर्स पे रख दिया कि इसको तू ले जा, अब तेरे को मतलब यहाँ रहने अलाउड नहीं है। तो उस रात को तो अब रात को मैं जाता भी कहाँ, इतने भी पैसे नहीं थे कि मैं ऑटो ले लूँ या कैब कर लूँ कि मैं कहीं चला जाऊँ। तो स्लेप्ट ऑन द स्टेयर्स। अगले दिन सुबह मेरे दोस्तों को पता लगा, दे इनवाइटेड मी ओवर टू स्टे विद देम फॉर फ्री, कि तू आ जा।
These are your MBA friends?
माय MBA फ्रेंड्स।
Okay.
कि तू आ जा और तू अपना सॉर्ट कर, तुझे कोई रेंट नहीं देना, तुझे कोई खाने का लोड नहीं लेना, तू आ यहाँ पे अपने आप को सेट कर। फिर मैंने साइड में एक लंदन की कंपनी थी, उनके साथ जॉब पकड़ ली।
So you didn't go back to the same house?
No.
Have you met the landlord again?
No, not now. I don't even know. I don't even remember कि वो दिखते कैसे थे, मुझे याद भी नहीं।
But you still owe him money?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I would love to give him back. अगर मुझे याद आ जाए कि मैं रहा कहाँ था या क्या हुआ था।
Okay.
मुझे याद भी नहीं आ रहा कि मतलब वो है कहाँ पे, कौन है, क्योंकि उनका भी कुछ अलग ही सिचुएशन था उस टाइम पे। बट यस, अगर ये देख के उनको पता लग जाए तो प्लीज़ कॉन्टैक्ट मी, आई वुड लव टू पे हिम बैक।
Okay.
बट दोस्तों ने बहुत हेल्प की और वैसे करके गुजारा हुआ और अब नाउ इज एवरीथिंग इज गुड।
Not bad, not bad. So you're 35 now.
Yeah.
Are you married?
I'm single.
You're
I'm
single.
looking for.
You're looking. Okay. But you never thought of getting married earlier?
एक्चुअली सर, जब प्यार था तब पैसे नहीं थे, क्योंकि आई हैड क्रश ऑन समवन फॉर अ वाइल एंड और उस टाइम पे मैं अपने सर्वाइवल मोड में था। मतलब स्टार्टअप चल नहीं रहा था, 5-6 साल से लगा हुआ था कि ये वाला स्टार्टअप चल जाए, फिर दूसरा बनाया, वो नहीं चला, फिर तीसरा बनाया। और उनके जो पेरेंट्स की डिमांड थी, जिनको मैं पसंद करता था, उनके पेरेंट्स की डिमांड थी कि लड़का मतलब एटलीस्ट सेटल हो। उसके बाद से कोई इतना पसंद ही नहीं आया कि शादी कर लूँ। आई एम डेटिंग और ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट एंड फाइंड समवन। घर वाले बोलते रहते हैं कि तू कर ले। I don't think so. I would be just marrying someone for the sake of marrying, until unless I find that love or that connection with someone again.
Wait. I mean, so it is said that to be an entrepreneur you have to sacrifice, but
Yeah.
I think you have sacrificed a lot.
कह सकते हैं, I've sacrificed that part.
Sleeping on the stairs, not marrying.
True, sir. अब देखते हैं what destiny will take me.
People at home now know the story about the last 10 years of your life?
People, as my family?
Yeah.
Some parts, little bit parts, especially this marriage part, they don't know. Okay. They will get to know this today, after hearing it. क्योंकि वो अभी भी पुश करते हैं कि तू कर क्यों नहीं रहा, तू कर ले। I mean, they just feel obviously like mother, she lives alone in करनाल। उनका तो ये रहता है ना कि बच्चे सेटल हो जाएं, बस सब सेट हो जाए।
But you are also in Karnal now.
I am currently in Karnal.
Okay, so you are at home with her.
जी, because she is alone. My father's last wish was, so he died of cancer, and I was working with a company in Gurgaon before my MBA. तो जब मैं जॉब कर रहा था तो मैं यहाँ पे गुड़गांव में रहता था। तो I remember my father sent an email without telling me to the MD of that company जहाँ पे मैं जॉब करता था। उन्होंने चुपचाप उनको ईमेल किया कि मैं कैंसर मुझे है और आई विल डाई वेरी वेरी सून। ऑब्वियसली ही न्यू इट्स कमिंग एंड ही ईमेल्ड हिम आस्किंग फॉर अ रिक्वेस्ट कि, क्योंकि उस टाइम मैं पुणे में था, मतलब ऑल्दो माय बेस लोकेशन वाज गुड़गांव, बट आई वाज स्टेशन्ड एट पुणे इन द सेम कंपनी। सो ही रिक्वेस्टेड हिम कि आप कोशिश ये करिएगा कि नितिन को गुड़गांव में बुला लीजिएगा, सो दैट ही कैन स्टे क्लोजर टू हिज मॉम। तो वही चीज़ मैं याद करके बस कोशिश करता हूँ कि आई विल स्टे क्लोजर टू माई फैमिली एंड माई मदर until unless आई एम मैरिड और हैव अ नीड टू स्टे इन गुड़गांव और Delhi NCR. My tech company can work remotely from anywhere. That's another sacrifice sort of I'm doing, because I have to travel every week now to do podcasts in Gurgaon. Most of my work, most of the people I want to meet or catch up are in Gurgaon or Delhi NCR. But I still live in Karnal because
it's not that far.
हाँ, it's not that far. बट कुछ चीज़ें होती हैं कि मिस हो जाती हैं, बिकॉज मंडे टू फ्राइडे में बहुत चीज़ें होती हैं जो गुड़गांव NCR में हो रही होती हैं। यू कांट कीप ट्रैवलिंग बैक एंड फोर्थ। But ठीक है, that's another thing that I feel I should do because that was my father's last wish.
Right.
Yeah.
So very incredible story, yeah. I mean, at a young age of 35, you've experienced so much and sacrificed so much to achieve.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's quite a remarkable story.
Thank you so much, sir. But nothing compared to what you have done for the country.
I have not done much yet.
मैं आपसे ना कुछ और 5-6 सवाल और पूछूंगा, प्लीज, इफ यू हैव टाइम.
Absolutely.
आपने पद्मा श्री मिला है आपको, राइट? व्हाट हैपेंस, व्हाट चेंजेस, क्या होता है जब व्हेन यू रिसीव दैट?
Yeah, the first thing you're told is, listen, now you got a national award. Now you better behave yourself. Don't get into any. There must be no wrong kind of publicity, and don't do anything that is embarrassing for anybody. Okay, so think of it like you become a judge in a high court, and you got to be very careful. So I mean, I was not doing anything wrong anyway, but but you just have that added responsibility. But you also, it's an honor. I was not expecting it. I didn't know it was coming, and I was pleasantly surprised when it happened. And I guess beyond that, life goes on.
Does that changes your mindset also in any way?
Not really. I mean, look, I got it when I was 58, right? So I've already been working for so long, and so you don't really change anything. But now let me, अब मेरे को डर लग रहा है.
नहीं सर, आपने इतने काम किए हैं, आपको.
Okay.
We have saved it.
We have half saved it.
Half saved it.
Okay. So
बचाने की कोशिश करता हूँ.
I don't think we can save it.
We will, sir. Together we will. We saved it.
अब एक और है.
Oh, crazy.
Okay, now, but taking on one more from this will be a challenge.
It's a task.
ये ट्राई करें?
नहीं सर.
ये
नो. ये हो सकता है. लेट मी हेल्प यू.
ओके. अब इसके बाद वाला में चैलेंज
जो देख रहे होंगे ना कि कर क्या रहे हैं लोग, ये दिस इज अ न्यू काइंड ऑफ अ पॉडकास्ट.
So it's an honor. It's a and you feel flattered, you feel privileged, you feel grateful, but then you go on with life.
आपने मुझसे ना bootstrapping की बात की थी, that you're bootstrapping and profitable. Is bootstrapping the right way or raising funds? And if raising funds,
there is no one route.
What do you recommend people though?
Yeah, it's a hell of a thing to tell people to पैसे मिलने तो मना कर दो. Nobody does that, right? अगर पैसे मिल रहे हैं, you have a very serious think about it, right? But you should not be an entrepreneur just because you are not getting funding, external funding. Ideally you should be committed enough, clear enough मेरे को करना है, and along the way money will come.
And is there any right time to raise funds?
जब मिल रहे होते हैं, जब चाहिए होते हैं. It has to be the coincidence of both.
Have you, in your entire 100-120 companies portfolio, recommended someone not to raise funds?
We have recommended इतना मत raise करो, कम raise करो. We have recommended don't wait, अभी raise करो, because उस समय शायद ना मिले. We have recommended इससे नहीं raise करो, उससे raise करो. But we have, I don't think ever recommended not to raise money when the founder wanted to raise money. Actually, we have once or twice. They said, look, we got enough money, why are you raising more? And जिसमें को मिल रहा है, क्या पता आगे ना मिले. अगर हम इससे पैसे नहीं लेंगे, he won't invest in competition.
Correct.
So people give those kind of reasons, but we have never recommended. Unless a company's got too much money, we have not recommended.
Not to raise money. आपने बोला इससे raise करो, इससे मत करो.
If there are two choices.
Correct. What should a startup founder look at in an investor? हम लोग opposite की तो हमेशा बात करते हैं. आपसे मैंने qualities of a founder पूछी. Investor की क्या qualities है?
I think देखो पहले तो you should figure out कि इंडिया में ना you need patient capital.
Patient capital.
You 10-12 साल लगते हैं for a company to really achieve what it wants to achieve. So, does the investor have that kind of patience and time horizon? Will he come and micromanage you? Maybe you would like that kind of help. In that case, it's good. But if you want independence, and that's not the kind of investor who gives you independence, then right, then it's a good idea to talk to other founders that investor has invested behind, and not just the firm, that particular partner. How is this person to work with? I think investor compatibility, the chemistry, is key. It's very important.
Are there any companies that you feel have failed just because the investor was not that patient enough to wait?
I think sometimes investors set targets and push founders to achieve those targets, which maybe they cannot achieve in that time frame. And sometimes they take the wrong decisions on spending. And then when they run out of money, the investor is not there to support them. That's a challenge.
That's true.
So I think founders should take their own independent decisions. Ultimately, it's your life and your company. देखो इन्वेस्टर का तो पोर्टफोलियो होता है. एज अ फाउंडर आपका पोर्टफोलियो नहीं है, आपकी एक ही कंपनी है,
आपकी एक ही कंपनी
और एक ही लाइफ है. So you have much more at stake.
Correct. You have worked very closely, obviously, Zomato के साथ, and Zomato acquired Blinkit, right?
जी.
And Blinkit has become even bigger now for them.
Yes.
अभी जो क्विक कॉमर्स की वेव आई है, that's on another crazy level, right? और आजकल तो ऐसा ही बोला जा रहा है कि क्विक कॉमर्स will replace किराना.
Quick commerce is not replacing kirana.
आपको क्या लगता है क्या होने वाला है?
See, quick commerce is right now taking share. First of all, it's creating sales which would not have happened otherwise.
Which should not happen otherwise.
Why? You want something in 10 minutes. पहले वो चांस नहीं था, तो आप खरीदते नहीं थे, right? So one is that kind of sale. The second is quick commerce is not touching kirana stores. Quick commerce, if it's taking share away, it's taking share away from organized retail and from other horizontal e-commerce companies. तो फिलहाल तो all data shows us कि sale share वहां से आ रहा है. And
like from Amazon, Flipkart, companies like these.
And not from Kirana.
But where is this heading?
I think there's a certain urban strata of society where quick commerce is relevant. And there, quick commerce will have to morph if it wants to go down the income strata, down into...
Like in rural.
It'll have to morph. And that may happen, that may require to be happen several years later. So,
how will it will morph?
I don't know. We don't know yet. देखना पड़ेगा. But as of now, quick commerce is not taking share from kirana.
And where is India heading? Quick commerce के अलावा, where do you think India is heading?
I think as digital has penetrated, as smartphones get cheaper, I think more and more people will use the digital platforms to transact. I think that's pretty clear.
Do you think products like ChatGPT, which is possible in San Francisco, US, can emerge out of India also?
देखिए, it's very expensive to produce an LLM. Okay, so India may or may not have the compute, the computational power, the number of chips needed to build your own LLMs. But India is data rich.
Because of the population.
Population, the number of transactions, mobile phone penetration. And therefore, we have to leverage our strengths. So we are using in Naukri, there's some 16 to 20 projects going on right now on how to use LLMs to make Naukri run better, how to use AI to make Naukri run better.
एक example आपने बताया था resume वाला.
हाँ, but there are other examples also. And some may not succeed, but many will succeed. अभी काम चल रहा है. What we are saying is that we are training our algorithms on our data. And we don't want to give this data out. So our IP will be built on our data, not on us inventing our own LLMs or creating our own LLMs. But that is hard.
Correct. LLMs is more like a layer which sits beneath that is utilized by your data to produce what outcome you want to use.
Yes. So we will use open source LLMs to work on our data to hopefully improve our product and consumer experience and make our stuff run better. But we don't want to give our data out.
It's like, is there any analogy between, for example, horizontal versus vertical e-commerce? Do you think that's the same case?
So these will be vertical applications.
Right. Vertical LLMs versus generalized LLMs.
Exactly.
Same like what vertical e-commerce have done.
Yes.
Okay, great. बहुत सारी बातें की हैं आपसे मैंने. मुझे सिर्फ इतना पूछना है आपसे लास्ट कि what is your personal eventual goal?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it. I just work for the day. And जो काम चालू किया है वो जारी रहे. I mean, hopefully the institutions that we've built will outlive the founders and continue to run and excel.
Do you believe in legacy?
I'm okay if the legacy is not attributed to me. I'm okay to be anonymous.
You're okay with anonymous?
Yeah. But the institution must continue and do good work.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, sir. बहुत मजा आया आपसे.
Thank you, and I loved hearing your story, boss.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
All the best.